Hey there, horror fans. David Howard Thornton here, Mr. Art the Clown himself, and you're watching the 13th Wolfman. Ow!
Hey everybody, it's the 13th Wolfman, and you won't believe it, man. I got the maniacal madman himself. I got David Howard Thornton, Art the Clown from Terriffier on Sit Down. Welcome to Sit Down, Dave.
Thank you, Wolfie. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I've seen the movie before. I just got done rewatching it again, to keep it all fresh in my mind, and it's a fun movie. It's I wouldn't guess. Probably 50 gallons of blood gets spilled in this movie.
Oh, probably at least 50 gallons, and that's on screen. That's not counting all the different takes we had to do.
True. Yeah. Do you have a favorite kill in this movie?
Yeah, and it surprises people which one it probably is, because they're probably thinking it's going to be the hacksaw scene. But mine was the beheading of the exterminator, because that's like also an inside joke there, because the guy I beheaded, Mike Levy, his film company, Fuss and the Lens Films, are the guys that are responsible for the whole resurgence of the killer clown thing. That he was the Staten Island clown that used to stand out in public and just creep people out a few years ago. That started the whole craze, yeah. So it's kind of cool that I killed the Staten Island clown on this.
I think I kind of remember that being a craze at one time where they were talking about it in the news that just some creepy clown would just freak people out in New York or whatever.
Yeah, it was about 5 years ago, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if that was the resurgence of it, because, there's a lot. There are a lot of killer clown movies.
Yeah.
You can go back to, 1986, Blood Harvest.
Yeah.
But everyone tries, and a lot of people do it, and you guys do it very well, to make it your own thing.
Yeah. Well, you got to. You can't just rip off everybody else that came.
I get that, but you do it really well, because it's not set in a circus. It's just this creepy skinny guy yourself. You're real skinny, dude.
Yeah, I am. I have a hole in my butt. It's broken. It's got a crack in it.
The funny thing is that you see some clowns like in 100 Tears, where it's a big burly guy, and you're like, okay, that guy looks intimidating. You don't look intimidating.
Yeah, he's just he's kind of like Freddy, where he's more wiry type of killer.
Yeah, he's just bent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good kill. My favorite kill, of course, is the hacksaw scene. I do love that. Just I've seen it done before in a few other movies, and every time it's done perfect, and it's always done a little bit different. They did it in Wrong Turn 2. Mm-hmm.
Also,
which
Bone Tomahawk as well did one.
They did in Bone Tomahawk, yeah. And but everyone does it, and they do it differently. And like I said before, it looks perfect. That looks really, really good.
Yeah, that's all Damien there. It's just he knows what he's doing with these practical effects. He's a talented man.
So you were a mime before you did this?
Well, not really a mime, I would say. I don't know where that started, but a mime is a terrible thing to waste. But yeah, but no, I really got my start more doing children's theater, and I learned a lot of clowning by doing that, because I did a lot of comedic art style, a lot of slapstick, and I grew up watching the old, really the amazingly talented physical comedians from back in the early 1900s, like Chaplin and
Buster Keaton, Charlie Chaplin.
Oh, they're just fantastic. So that's what I kind of modeled everything off of, because you don't see that kind of acting as much anymore, and I want to kind of maybe bring that back to the forefront of people's minds, but in a new way. It's you don't usually see a killer doing that kind of stuff.
Right, and I was going to say, wow, so you were a mime before. I was going to say you did a really great job pantomiming, because there's a scene. I know you don't really get the spike in your foot, but you did an awesome job of not reacting, but not reacting, you know?
That was actually hard to do without a sound.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I didn't want them to have to edit my sounds out or anything like that. I wanted to do it as is with no sounds, all my like reactions and stuff like that. So that was a hard thing to go against my own instinct of even letting out an exhale, like an audible exhale. Anytime I got stabbed or anything like that, I tried my best to keep silent, but to also show the pain that I was, was being inflicted on me. So that was a nice challenge.
And that was one of my favorite reactions was the spike to the foot.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, he did a really killer job there.
Thank you.
So how'd you get involved with this?
It just randomly fell in my lap. They posted an audition notice on Actors Access, which is like a website for actors to find auditions, and they were looking for a tall, skinny guy with clowning or physical comedy experience for the quote-unquote role of a lifetime. And I was like, this is perfect for me. And I'd already seen like All Hallows Eve anyway, so I was already familiar with the character. So I knew, because I loved the character when I first saw it. I was like, that's an awesome character. I would love to have a chance to play that character. And then like here it is about a year or so later after I'd seen All Hallows Eve, and that chance came and I took it. I contacted my agents and I said, you guys, you must submit me for this. I know I can knock this out of the park.
And you did.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, so you're a horror fan then?
Oh yeah.
Well, there are some people that do horror movies. They're like, I'm an actor.
Oh yeah, I know several of those people, especially a lot of the females I've met at these conventions. That like Adrienne Barbeau. She's like she hates horror films. She says they scare her too much, so she doesn't watch them. Yet she's been in so many of them.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
That really is funny. But I'm just glad to hear that there are some people that that are still fans of this, and not just just a paycheck.
Oh, I think that's why this movie was as good as it was, considering like how limited we were on what we could do with our funding. It's because all of us that were making it were fans of horror films.
That's
so
cool.
we made the movie we wanted to see because this is the kind of stuff we love doing.
I don't know if you saw this, but about a week ago, I was on Facebook, and there was a thing going around saying who should play Freddy Krueger next. Your name was submitted so many times.
Wow, that's a huge honor. That's scary too, because that's like you don't want to step on Superman's cape there, because there's no way on earth I could do better than what Robert Englund has already done with that character. He is Freddy Krueger in my mind.
I don't think anyone's saying that if you take over, you're going to try and better him.
No, but still, it's just like those comparisons would already be there, like they are with Jackie Earle Haley, who's a fantastic actor himself.
Fantastic actor, but they did a terrible job with the makeup. That's what threw it off for me in the remake.
Oh yeah, that makeup was it was. I think they were trying to go too realistic with it in some ways, and it just didn't look right.
Yeah.
He just has that iconic look, and that just wasn't there. It's just all Robert. He is Freddy.
Yeah. It was one thing I just kept reading. It's like David Howard Thornton. I'm like, wow. I mean, I would. I mean, if you did get the role, if you were asked to do the role, I would. I mean, if it was me, I'd be honored, but I'd also be kind of freaked out because now you've got to juggle playing two iconic horror characters.
Yeah, that would definitely be a challenge because and make them separate from each other as well, so they're not like the same kind of character.
Right.
So that would definitely be a challenge. I think if I did do it, I would just research the crap out of what Robert did and at least get his basic mannerisms down and stuff like that. So I brought a lot of what he did to it, but didn't add my own into it as well. But you still got to. There are certain things that are iconic about Freddy. Even his stance, where he's like leaning a little,
slunched over
to his right because of the weight of the glove and stuff like that. There are certain little things you have to have there.
Kind of looks like going back to the old movies you're talking about. Kind of looks like the old villain that would put like the woman on the track.
Yes.
Yes,
like that Snidely Whiplash type of
exactly.
character.
He's kind of hunched over like that. He's like, "Yes, I'm evil."
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's like I said, I wasn't sure if you saw that, so I thought I'd bring it up.
Well, that's all. I'm very honored that people would even think of me in that category. That would be amazing. But that would be so scary at the same time.
So, what was honestly? I mean, you're in the makeup. You're not talking. You can't make any noises. What's the hardest part about making this movie? Is it not making the noises?
I would say, yeah, not making the noises, because I'm a voiceover actor in a lot of ways. I've done a lot of animated series and some video games, and that's my thing. I've always focused on more as an actor is, my voice. I do over 200 impressions, so every role I've played, I try to do a totally different voice for every character, because like the voice usually helps me find the character in a lot of ways.
Right.
And that was taken away from me in this, and so I'm like, geez, now I have to find the character without the voice, so I have to do something new with this to convey meaning and all that as well. So it was a fun challenge, but luckily I had a little bit to go off of what the original Art the Clown Mike Gianelli did with him in All Hallows Eve. He set a good foundation for me to build off of.
Yeah, like I said, this is a very fun movie. I really dug it. There's a lot of stuff about it I really, really liked. The practical effects were awesome. The story was really good. You just don't. It starts off kind of like bland, with the interview. Like, where are they going to go with this, and then it just kind of picks up, and you're on for this really cool ride.
Yeah, it's just like one big, huge, long cat and mouse game.
Yeah.
Which that's what was fun about it. I think it's just like we weren't really trying to be anything really thought-provoking in that way, I guess you could say. We knew what we were going into.
It's a slasher film.
Exactly. We weren't trying to be one of these pretentious slasher films that you see a lot now, where they're just trying to be, we're so smart. I'm like, not really. No, we just wanted to have fun with it. And I think that's what's lacking in a lot of these horror films now. They're not having fun with the material. And they have the potential to have fun with it, but they're just not really fully having fun with it. And that's what we wanted to change. We're like, let's just have fun. And that's what we did.
Yeah, I could see that. Just out of curiosity, how long did it take to make this movie?
Originally it was supposed to take about a month, but being an independent film, we had some setbacks here or there that we had to delay filming for a few weeks, and so just to raise more money or stuff like that, or something happened with the location and we weren't able to use that location anymore, so we had to find a new location. So it took initially about, I would say October, November, December, January, February, March, about 5-6 months to film it, off and on.
Wow.
Then we screened it back in 2016, like a rough cut of it at Telluride Horror Festival, and we decided to add a little bit more into the film. So we went back and reshot a few scenes and added some new scenes. And so, overall it took like a year and a half to do it all. But like I said, interspersed out throughout all that time.
Wow, that's a long time. Yeah, we do hear. I mean, we do this all the time, and we always hear the stories that it takes them like. There's one guy we know it took him like 4 years to make a movie.
Whew. That's tough. It's people, especially when you don't have a studio behind you. People don't understand how difficult it can be to make these types of films, because you're having to rely on funding for one. Movies are expensive.
Yeah, that was part of it. The other part was the fact that he's a perfectionist, and he didn't like the sound design. He did everything. He wrote it, directed it, produced it, did the sound design. So if he didn't like the sound design, he went back and he just re-recorded everything a different way. So it took all that time, and it's a really good movie. And that's the thing I love about the independent movies. You guys, there are certain movies out there. This is one of them, that take a low budget and make it look like $1 million film.
Yeah.
Because I would never guess that this was a low budget film.
It was about as low budget as you could get. We didn't even have a 6-figure budget.
See, that's crazy to me when you look at everything that's in this movie.
Yeah.
You know?
It shows the ingenuity of the people behind making it. It's like we had a very small crew, and it just took all of us coming together and working our butts off to make it happen. And it's like when you don't have that kind of money, you have to get a little bit creative with what you utilize. And we were lucky enough to find locations that were real world locations, so we didn't have to build sets. So that saved us a lot of money there. So yeah, and then
if you're not in the scene, you're holding the boom mic.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
pretty much. That was like our Fuzz and Lens guys. You know, our cops and Mike Levy, who played the exterminator, they also came in and helped with like sound and cameras and all that kind of stuff as well. So you know, when they weren't on screen, they were off screen as well.
Yeah, that's crazy to think that this isn't even a 6-figure budget. That's just wow.
Yeah,
it looks really, really good.
Yeah, thank you. That's like I say, it's all because of that fantastic crew that we had. Every single one of those guys worked their butts off.
And like you said, the ingenuity. You guys find ways to. It's like, okay, well, we could do this, but let's try to get it in one shot. That way, we can save somebody and put it into this.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
some of the stuff we've discovered going into doing part 2, because we're being a little bit more ambitious with part 2. and we still don't have a huge mega $1 million budget for it. So we're having to find some ways to save some money in some of these bigger set pieces that we want to do. So those are things we're like, well, if we can't do it this way, then maybe we can do it this way. This would be a cheaper way to do it, but it'll still be just as effective. It's a lot of brainstorming going on in that.
But going into part 2, at least you have a little bit of money from this one. You might be able to dump into that one. I mean, that's the thing. So when does part 2 start shooting?
We start filming in October, like late October. So
okay,
we're about to. We've started doing pre-production, so we're just started building sets. So we have a little studio upstate New York that we're going to be using for a lot of set pieces and stuff like that. And then we found some other real world locations that we're going to be using around New York and New Jersey and stuff like that. But yeah, we're about to have auditions coming up soon, so I'll be announcing all that, because I know a lot of people are wanting to audition for whatever roles that we have available. So I'll be posting all that kind of stuff too. And then we start filming in October.
Yeah, I won't ask you too much about it, because I know you can't talk about it, and I don't want to know.
It's fun to be surprised.
Yeah, I like watching the movies for the first time. You know, it's like if you could say something about it, it's like I would want to know that. I mean, also I'm like, oh, okay, that's what Party is talking about. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's the hard part, though, because there's so many cool ideas we have for this one. It's so hard not telling people these things. It's like, oh, I want to tell people some of these kills, especially. I'm like, oh. No.
And believe me, we all want to know them, but we don't.
Yeah. You want to be shocked when they happen.
So that should take a little bit of the pressure off of you, you know?
Oh, yeah.
That's like, I know that we got to get ready to get set up for the live show. So I want to thank you, David, for coming on Sit Down. This has been awesome.
Oh, you're welcome.
If people are looking for you out there in the interweb, where can they find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter under some variation of David Howard Thornton.
Okay. All right. So for Art the Clown's alter ego, David Howard Thornton, I am the 13th Wolfman. I'm on the prowl, and I'm looking out for him. Thank you.